Breaking news happening on the news at noon. Good to see you on this Friday. I'm Larry Miller. Just over an hour ago, we got a major decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices ruling that it is making it harder to charge Capitol riot defendants with obstruction. It's a charge that has also been brought against former President Donald Trump. Our Matt Gregory joining us right now in studio to help break down this latest ruling. Matt, we know that this was a ruling that a lot of people were looking at, given the sort of cases that have been moving forward related to the insurrection at the Capitol. What exactly does this mean about those cases moving forward?
Well, Larry, I mean, this is significant, right? Because it may alter one of the felony charges that some of the Capitol rioters face. And like you pointed out, the former president, Donald Trump, faces. Now, that is the felony of obstruction of an official proceeding. Now, of the 1,400 rioters charged in January 6th, about 350 have faced the obstruction charges. And of those, about 170 or a little less than half have been convicted. Now, basically, take a look there, the 6-3 ruling. The Supreme Court has limited what can be defined as obstruction of an official act as, quote, impairing the availability or impairing the integrity of records, documents, or objects used in an official proceeding, other objects. Now, essentially, defendants would have to tamper with or destroy documents, and based on this ruling, when the rioters attacked the Capitol building, the obstruction charge would only apply to those that directly attempted to impede, impair, or destroy the Electoral College count. Now, our experts say this does apply to some of the January 6 rioters, but it may not apply to all 350 currently convicted or facing charges of this particular felony. And also, we're told former President Donald Trump may try to use this ruling to have his own obstruction charges thrown out. But the breakdown of the court's ruling saw Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson join with 5 conservative-leaning justices to limit what is obstruction to an official act. And a reminder that this is a felony. A reminder, by the way, that felonies do carry prison time with them, or at least the potential for it. But legal scholars say this won't affect the majority of charges that the more than 1,400 rioters face. This was simply one that this is simply the one that was associated with the impeding of the Electoral College count. Larry?
Also making it clear that this was just too broad, the way the prosecutors were using it, and that by limiting, now placing restrictions and limits on this, certainly it will have an interesting impact on the rest of those cases, how they move forward. Even the cases that they've yet to bring forward as well. We do know that the investigations continue to charge additional individuals that were down at the Capitol on January the 6th.
And Larry, also, every judge will have to look at this sort of on a case-by-case basis, of course, because now that they know what obstruction is to look like, this may apply to some who have already been convicted, and it may apply to some, like Larry was pointing out, that are yet to be brought forward. So we'll have to see how this plays out. It, of course, gets remanded to a lower court to really disseminate what that looks like.
All right, the work continues there. Matt Gregory, thank you so much. We appreciate you as always, sir.